I'd like you to accompany me on a sailing trip that follows the voyage of discovery by Christopher Columbus in 1492. I first became aware that there was a program when I read an article in Cruising World magazine, the January issue. In it, the America 500, organized by Jimmy Cornell, will bring together a fleet of more than 100 yachts from 16 countries for a transatlantic rally from Palos, Spain to Puerto Santo, Madeira, the Canary Islands, and finally San Salvador in the Bahamas. The flotilla of yachts will be divided into two groups. One group of yachts will leave on the day that Columbus left Palos, August 3rd, and they proceed to the Canary Islands. The second group of yachts will leave Palos on October 12th, Columbus's date of discovery of the New World. When I read this article, I responded to it. There was an address, Cruising World Limited in London, England. The response I got was a wonderful series of Columbus logs, which in great detail and a very well done presentation of their program. And I also got an application for a crew list. I responded, they required some information about your previous offshore experience. Well, the first calls that I got were from charter companies, and they're very professionally done. They had professional captains and crews. But this is not exactly what I was looking for. I thought that I'd like to be an active participant as a crew member. Well, shortly thereafter, I received a telephone call from Bob Williams from here in on the Mediterranean coast of France, asking me if I was interested in being a crew member on one of the legs of his trip. He berths the boat on the Mediterranean coast of Spain. One leg was from that port to Palos. The second leg was from Palos to the Canary Islands, and the third leg would be from the Canary Islands to San Salvador in the Bahamas. I did say that I was available for the trip, but I first wanted to determine if he were primarily in the charter business. No, he said it was a 24-foot boat, and I have a feeling as one of three crew members that my services would be indispensable. I did say yes. When some of my friends and relatives inquired about the size of the boat, I explained that anybody could do it in a big boat. And there's also a boating philosophy that for comfort, you need a foot of boat for every year of your life. Well, perhaps I should have made the voyage in 1954.
Welcome. I'd like to introduce you to myself. My name's Joseph Miller. I am the current 54th Commodore of the Seville Yacht Club. This yacht club endears us with a history and tradition founded in 1901 July by John E. Roosevelt and others, the brother of Teddy Roosevelt. 1904, the club established with the help of the Roosevelts this burgee, which was designed by them and which we will later present to you as visiting clubs and that our members are visiting to establish a friendship between the two continents. I'd like to give you a little more history. In 1910, President Roosevelt at the Seville Yacht Club in the South Side Yacht Club regattas sailed with his uncle Robert B. Roosevelt and Regis Post of Bayport. Our club has grown in numbers to approximately 255 members, and we currently have hosted several international and national regattas, some of which most recently were the Sunfish North Americans, the Thistle North Americans, the Penguins, the Fireball regattas, and numerous other Bay Championships. We, as of last week, in September of 1992, Paul John Patton, one of our members, won the Worlds in Sunfish. As I indicated before, we would like to present our burgee as our gratitude to you and allowing our members to visit your club. This burgee has not changed in its format since 1904 and is flown by all members of our yacht club who have boats either at our basin or throughout the Long Island, New York area. In compliance and in respect for Spain's long tradition of the sea, exemplified by Martin Alonso Pinzon, captain of the Pinta and the Pride Apollos, and in keeping with the tradition and the performance of the men and women of the Spanish Olympic sailing team in Barcelona, we can only describe their performance as magnifico. And on behalf of the Seville Yacht Club and our members who will be touring overseas, thank you very much, and please extend our courtesy to you as we would extend to you.
Going to sail a 24-foot boat, 800 nautical miles in the open sea. As I said in the beginning, it was a little unusual, or strange as you might say, and in fact, he seems to have gotten stranger since he's gotten older. Anybody would consider sailing a 24-foot boat in the open ocean at the tender age of 65, is it 65 or 60? Well, I may be exaggerating, it's probably a little bit less than that. But the fact of the matter is, I think he's wacky. I always have thought he was wacky, but I love the guy, and we've been dear friends for many years, and I've always considered it a privilege to be a friend of Kenny's, and I know him and I love him. I wish him the very best of everything and hope that his trip is one of success. I hope he has calm seas, fair winds, and has a really super trip. Kenny, good luck and God bless you. I wish you the best of everything, as always. Take care. Oh, incidentally, before you go, would you mind leaving me the keys for your car and your wallet? With the credit.
Salerno.
Now it's my rescuers, the shepherds.
Kenneth, you're off on an adventure?
Well, I hope so. I think we're going to find out whether this is a fantastic journey or there's no fool like an old fool.
Well,
But when I return, we're going to have dinner together, and I'll tell you about, I'll fib about my amazing exploits.
well, we're looking forward to it. Have a safe and wonderful passage, and wish you all the best of luck with it.
See
Good
you.
luck, Ken.
Bye-bye, Ken.
Vaya con
Bob.
Dios.
Vaya con Dios.
Adios.
Adios.
Have you met Arlentine? Picos.
Hello, Picos. How are you?
How are you?
My pleasure. And you are?
English. Also English. Good. I should. At least you know the boat names. Well, I'm thinking yes.
We've been here since July. She's
July.
She's getting, I would say used to it, but she's getting tired of it.
And you'll change ours?
Change. Now she's buying.
Well, we finally arrived at Porto Sherry. The ride from Seville was through some driving rain, and it's a pretty nice resort hotel marina complex. However, I discovered that Rob Williams is not here. He did expect me later, and the Ishtar is not here. It's berthed at another location.
I don't always look like this. My wife told me to try a beard that I've never grown before, but it's kind of fun to see how it grows out, and try it on a cruise for a little bit. And if she likes it, I can wear it. If she doesn't, just tell me to take it off. So here we are at Porto Sherry, which is the jump-off place for the America 500 rally, which will consist of 200 or 300 boats sailing together from the coast of Spain to Madeira, and then on to the Canary Islands, where they'll have a regatta around the islands for about 10 days to 2 weeks. And then on the 15th of November, all 200 and plus boats will leave for San Salvador to follow the traditional route of Christopher Columbus. And I have the smallest boat in the fleet, a Dana 24, very seaworthy boat, good crew, and we may not be the first boat over the line, but we'll certainly make it and have a good time doing it. So,
P prime C D.
okay, and it's coded, is it? How do I get down on that dock?
P prime 17 is T1007.
T1007 is the code to get down there. And he is at what post?
17, P prime 17.
17. And the name of this boat?
Ventura.
We'll see if this works here. Where's T? I press T1007. That's okay. Good morning. It's Friday, the 9th of October, 1992, approximately 500 years after Columbus began his epic voyage to the New World. And we're here on the north shore of the Gulf of Cadiz, just south of Porto Sherry, looking at about 35 to 40 boats, which will be participating amongst the 80 to 85 boats leaving Palos on the 12th of October to head towards Porto Santo in the Madeira Islands. Behind me, you can see about 30 of these boats coming up to the starting line for a friendly race up to Huelva, which is about 60 miles north of us here, where all of the boats will be anchored in the river closest to the port of Palos, which now unfortunately is silted up by 500 years of mud coming down the Rio Tinto River. We should have the start in just a moment as the two flags on the committee boat come down, and there'll be a gun or a foghorn signal indicating the start of the race. There you hear it. "10 seconds, and they should be off." It was my great desire to have Ishtar, my 24-foot Dana, here with our start, but unfortunately we ran into very strong headwinds in the eastern Mediterranean, and we put into a port of Agua Dulce, where Ishtar is waiting for us, but we thought we'd come up here and participate in the send-off activities, and then run back and get Ishtar, get her fitted out, go down to Gibraltar, and head off and meet the rest of the fleet down at Recife on the island of, I believe it's Formentera or Lanzarote, I guess it should be, and pick up the rest of the fleet there and join them for the regatta throughout the Canary Islands.
Trip, I don't know how do you say...
Barque de vela?
Barco, velero, velero.
Sí. What is the name of it?
Saga.
Saga.
Saga, de Eduardo Gallardo. But she lives in Miami, eh?
Sí.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
What we're looking at is some of the new construction in connection with the Porto Sherry Marina and Resort. And what I'm going to do is pan across the bay, and we'll catch some of the stragglers approaching the starting line.
We're also looking across the Bay of Cadiz, and in the foreground we have the remains of what we think was a fort built to defend the city of Cadiz against the encroachment of the Napoleonic fleet back in the early part of the 19th century.
We've reached the port city of Yeba, and it's on the Tinto River. And it's from this location where the Oradal and the Tinto River converge that Columbus departed for America. The boats should start assembling here late. The flag we're looking at is the official emblem of this event, authorized by the government of Spain and used by the promoters of this rally. And we have next to it the flag of the town of Yeba. What we're looking at now is one of the first boats finishing the race from Porto Sherry at El Puerto de Santa Maria and passing the Columbus Monument, which was a gift from the people of the United States to the people of wind is blowing pretty strong here. It seems all the local residents use this. This is the Atlantic to the left, and the Rio Tinto to the right. We're looking at the lighthouse again, and it seems this is the beginning of the three-day Columbus Day weekend, and many of the local residents will come out here, camp, and spend the weekend fishing. Looks like a very congenial, but it seems like it will be a very windy and cold weekend.
But the first one came in at 2:15, and we're now at 6 o'clock, just after 6 o'clock, and they've all been coming in thick and fast. The nearest, I think, was one that we had, they come in within 10 seconds, yes, 16:58:03, 16:58:18, and 16:58:24. So the seconds, yeah, they really came right over it. So it was very good.
Mary,
We're well over halfway.
which was the first across the line?
Egg Crate was the first to cross the line, American boat.
What size?
He came, yes, he's a 53
Oh,
footer.
Big, heavy displacement motoring.
Paul is the owner's name, Paul Eggert, hence the name Egg Crate. And the first sailing boat, well, we won't know which one has sailed all the way until we get their declarations in.
Oh, do you suspect that he may have motored part of the way?
Oh, they've
he
all
definitely
They've all motored.
well,
most of them.
But the first one we think was Mano Bravo, and which was the next one? Fun Star. He sailed. I thought there was another one.
With Integrity will have sailed all the way, Liberty will have sailed all the way.
Were they getting substantial headwinds?
No,
No?
they've been sailing free all the way. It's been westerly most of the way, I think.
And which is this one coming in, Teddy?
So they had one big long tack, did they? Or?
So yes, it looks very much like it, yes. We went around to the northwest for a short while when they were beating, but they could still lay the mark.
This is what, about a 4?
Charlie Control, you have now crossed the finish line, thank you.
Yes. Do you want on time, over?
Negative, thank you. But when you proceed up the river, when you approach the town of Huelva, you might wish to switch to channel 09 for anchoring assistance if you require it.
Well, this is the sun setting at the end of the day, at Friday, so October 9th. Tomorrow the group will assemble, and there'll be certain events that will take place around the city, sponsored by the America 500 Rally.
Well, we started here, came across the bridge, and went all the way down past these salt pans, following the river on the western side, down through these marshes, and just about here, we cut off the road and went down to look across to the Columbius Monument on the other side of the river, at the confluence of the Rio Tinto and the Rio del Urbiel. Then we continued down here to this area, which is just a sort of a beach area for residents of Huelva in the summertime, to a point where the beach peters out completely and nothing is left but a stone digue or breakwater all the way down here to the end where we saw the lighthouse, and we're watching the boats cross the finish line. It was really a long trip, I'd say almost 8 or 9 nautical miles, maybe 10 or 12 statute miles. This morning I have a necktie and a scarf from some of our dignitaries to present on behalf of the state of Maryland.
Keep walking.
Okay. Come on, let's not be late.
Province of Huelva and the mayor of Huelva. They're very proud of the fact that all the voyages started from here, not just Columbus, but for many years afterwards. And they do call Huelva Gates of the Americas, because so many expeditions during the years following the Columbus voyage started from here. They'll be coming in a moment. Anyway, I didn't want to make a speech. All I wanted to say is to explain what happens. At 11 o'clock, after the signing ceremony here, we'll have a press conference. Those of you who would like to stay on, please do, especially those of you who speak Spanish. I mean, Butler and maybe the crew of Cyrano and so on. I mean, anyone who would like to stay on, it is quite interesting. Otherwise, just take a walk in town. At 12 o'clock, we'll have the buses leave from here to take you to the horse show. The buses will also leave, other buses will leave with the crew taking them from the port to the horse show. So you meet them there. They will be there for about 2 hours. They will take you back by bus, and then you have a free afternoon. If you want to stay in town, fine. The launches will run all the time. It takes time, but the launches are there 24 hours a day. There's always a launch on duty, at least one launch, even at 4 o'clock in the morning. It's there. Tonight, about 8 o'clock, we'll start taking you ashore, maybe a bit earlier, and then the buses, sorry, all right, I'll explain later. The Presidente Tourist Board, the Mayor of Huelva, Don Juan Seada, the Director of the Bicentenary Board for the Province of Huelva, Don Jose Juan Diaz-Trillo, and the man who is behind all the work, Francisco Rufete, who is Director of all the nautical events within the Bicentenary. Lo siento que utilizo en inglés porque como hay 21 banderas y 26 países representantes, utilizamos mal afortunadamente en inglés. I apologize for using English as our common language, but as we have 21 flags flying on our ships, and I believe we have now representatives from 26 countries we have been using, unfortunately, I must always apologize to our Spanish guests, their hosts in the English language.
En primer lugar, quería darle la bienvenida a la ciudad de Huelva en este año emblemático para nosotros, que es 1992.
I'll do the translation as well, might as well do all the jokes together. The mayor of Huelva would like to welcome you to the city of Huelva, especially in this very symbolic year, 1992.
Los ciudadanos de la provincia de Huelva, os doy una afectuosa bienvenida a estas tierras.
In the name of the people of the province of Huelva, I'd like to extend you a very warm welcome to this land.
Están ustedes en la sede, en el edificio de la Diputación Provincial.
This building is the seat of the provincial deputation, which is the provincial government.
Y en esta sala, un pintor de estas tierras, recientemente fallecido, José Caballero, dejó algunas muestras que se refieren a la aventura del descubrimiento.
And in this hall, a local painter, José Caballero, who passed away recently, did some paintings with the theme of the discovery.
Estos tapices representan los ríos de Huelva, el río Tinto, rojo, del cobre de las minas, y el río...
This mural represents the night of departure.
Quiso expresar la emoción y el desconsuelo de los que se iban a lanzar a esa...
And if you just open the book, do you have the book with you? Right. And then also if you have a gift, open the books to the page of the Huelva. We have here. That's it. Representative of California. Representative of Maryland, Ishtar.
Well, we're here in the anteroom of the Governor General of the province and the Mayor of Huelva, surrounded by artifacts and objets d'art from the 15th and 16th century, I guess. And apparently on this wall over here we have a tapestry with the names of many famous navigators who probably left from the port of Huelva. I see a few here, particularly the Pinzons. The Pinzon brothers were the captain, I believe, of the Pinta, and competitors in a way to Columbus for the...
I'm Sandra Gray. I'm from Florida. We're on the boat Sea Gem. It's our boat. We've had it for 6 years. And we're the official representatives of the state of Florida and the city of Orlando.
And we have a few gifts that we have been giving to some of the dignitaries. And one of the gifts is a Mickey Mouse watch. It's a nice watch, but it's a Mickey Mouse watch. And, it's from Walt Disney World. And we have a pen and pencil set we give from Walt Disney World too. It's a set. And we have some flags from the city of Orlando and book from the city, key to the city of Orlando. We're going to give out this visit to Huelva. We'll give that out to the mayoress of Huelva, key to the city of and we gave a book of pictorial of the state of Florida from the governor.
So it's a lot of fun.
Yeah. What we're looking at now is the America 500 rally fleet anchored in the river Florida, Pittsburgh. There's a launch service to the America 500 headquarters. Presently on the bus, waiting to pick up some crew members to attend an equestrian show.
Way back years ago, this is dark.
To the people of Spain. Stands at the confluence of the Rio Tinto and the Ori del Rio.
My name is Joe Branson from Boulder, Colorado. One of the great sailors of all time from Boulder, Colorado. Been interested in the America's 500 for 4 years now, and I've run into Bob and Ken here in Spain, and they broke my arm to join them for a crew member, and off we go. What else would you like me to say, senor?
Tiene mucho concurso.
Gracias.
We have these in Chicago.
What?
We have these in Chicago. No, I know
these are
they're.
Andalusians.
What are they? Andalusian?
Andalusian.
Where are the lips on?
Belgium.
No, Vienna.
They're German, aren't they? Austrian.
Yeah.
In Vienna.
They're dapple grays,
Yeah.
right? Or white like this one? That's a dapple gray.
Oh, I see. The horse is beating time with its tail.
Yeah, it's on sideways.
Perché compra il vodka, Mosca, como Superman. Amigo. El campo es pantapájaro. ¡Qué trabajo! Anoche explicada, anoche, qué trabajo.
Emilio, debía tener Emilio, should have someone.
He has.
He has.
Y yo le pregunté a Emilio, ¿qué es lo que y él me dijo?
¿Cómo se llama el libro escrito por usted que me dijo su señora sobre el naufragio?
En castellano. Los náufragos.
Los náufragos, para tener la precaución de comprarlo. Y decir que conocía al autor.
What are you reading, Mother?
Dándomelo. Ay. 1 millón de gracias.
Entregándole la copia a don Ramón de la...
En inglés, por favor. En inglés, por favor.
El artífice de esta odisea es la señora. Lo sufrió. Él lo padeció y ella lo sufrió.
Delivering the story to Don Ramon here, owner of this nice little bar in Huelva, and he was anxious to hear the story, and I told him to read about it. The Spanish version will be out pretty soon, but he says he has kids that can read it. So you were asking how this whole thing came about. I started out in April of 1989 to sail 2 miles. It's a long way around through the Pacific Ocean and into Manila, then Manila across the Indian and the Ocean, the Red Sea, Turkey, Mediterranean, and ended up here just about at the same time. On about 21 days out of Panama, on the way to Hawaii, we were attacked by pilot whales, sunk in a matter of 25-30 minutes, during which time we tried to save the boats, mayday messages, inflate the raft, load it full of stuff, and float away. We drifted 66 days, 1,200 miles towards shore. We picked up 13 miles off the shore of Costa Rica on the 19th. We sank the 15th of June, picked up the 19th of August. 50 pounds less and a little whiter. And that's the story in, in 30 seconds or less.
Great.
And the Power of Survivor has used you quite a bit in their advertising, haven't they?
I'll let them use my picture, you know.
Senora?
So I'm here sitting with my survivor husband. We have made a deal. We made a deal that I'm not sailing with him at all. I'm just meeting him in different ports, and I'm really having fun meeting people and having a lot of pleasure to meet people like you. So please give my regards to your wife and tell her that that makes two of us.
Would you say
wives?
Oh, your wife too.
I have a
so
wife
that's
too, but
three.
she doesn't like to say
So that's three of us.
Well,
But,
where do you make your home?
My home is in Puerto Rico.
Puerto Rico?
Yes.
I see.
And
well, we will visit you there one time and
I hope so.
share the experience.
Yes. And I have, short sails is okay. Just around,
in the harbor.
In the harbor, where I feel safe and I can have a lot of fun.
Gracias.
My name is Paul Eggert, and I'm from Grand Haven, Michigan. I'm on a 154, and we're over here participating in the fun. My son's sailed over with courtesy across the ocean. It's the first time we've ever done it, and unfortunately we hit a storm, a gale, and a storm, and my son's got off the boat. And that was planned, and we took, and I fortunately picked up two young people from the Azores, and
Take your shades off. Tell them who you really are.
So we did the coastal of Spain for about 3 weeks, and I flew back home and spent the summer in Grand Haven, and we just arrived again to do our race, and I got a new crew member, and we sailed in a race for 10 minutes yesterday, and there's my idea. Just got repaired, and we've been to 3 horse shows, and we're having a very lovely time. And this is my friend Midge, who's got a Whitby 56.
Whitby 56. We left Puerto Rico on May 5th, got in Lisbon on June 5th, and we went into the Mediterranean in late June, and we went as far as Barcelona on the boat, then we took it to Mallorca, and then flew back to Michigan for 3 weeks. Went back to Mallorca, picked up the boat, and we worked our way back here, and are immensely enjoying the activities connected with America 500. They've done a splendid job organizing this thing, and I think they should be real proud of what they're doing.
I bet you could have rented bunks on your boat at Barcelona and paid for the whole thing.
That's right.
We could have. We had a boat.
And this is Dave Midge's sister, Joyce Hatt, and she's been crewing with me, and
where did you get on the boat, Joyce?
I got on the boat in Marbella a couple of weeks ago, and I'm very envious because I like to sail. I've sailed all my life with my brother or with Paul, 40 years, and unfortunately I have to work, so I've been here a couple of weeks, and we did race yesterday. Paul and I were racing, the two of us only, on a Whitby. No, you had the Air 154, and unfortunately our Jenny lost the ring 8 minutes into the race, but we were first here, so we motored here and we won, but I'm afraid not the sailing race. We're first to finish. Yeah.
I'm now filming the launch service that's provided by the America 500 and the town of Yeba, and the wonderful folks that we just interviewed are now boarding, and they're headed back to their boat that is anchored in the river. And it's just about as far as the eye can see. We have America 500. This is the next launch waiting for you, and then pick up the next one. Very well organized.
It's not exactly the Largemont Club.
Gratitude.
Here. They're running 3 boats.
Haven Lady.
God, look at this. It does look like Haitians coming.
Hilaria.
The only difference is the color.
Yes.
We're now in the town of Palos, the town, pueblo in España, where Columbus departed from.
Those times, and they took water from here. This is the church of St. George's, San Jorge, where we'll be visiting, where we have tomorrow morning a blessing of the fleet, exactly the same way as happened 500 years ago. Columbus and his sailors were in this church 500 years ago. They had the blessing of the fleet on the morning of their departure, as you will have tomorrow morning. Then they left through a gate which is not normally used on this side, on the north side, and they walked down to their ships. And we will be doing the same tomorrow. Today you will be just visiting Palos, and to get you an idea of where the ships were, it was supposed to be done for the Bicentenary, it will be done later. They'll be dredging out this river again, and they want to have the 3 replicas here in the future, in the near future. The money has been approved, and the names of all the American 500 yachts will be on a plaque on the wall of the Maritime Museum, which are going to build here. So this will be done. Fortunately, our monument is already standing in Porto Santo, and your names are being engraved now. So that's already standing. You'll be seeing it there when we go down. Good morning.
Well, this is the Church of St. George that Columbus and his crew attended services or mass before their departure. The only thing that has been added is the steeple, but the rest of the structure was here in 1492. We're now in the house of Martin Alonso Pinzon, the captain of the Nina. And this has been turned into a museum. What's that? These are some of the records of life here and their journey. A typical courtyard in many Spanish homes.
And there's back of Jimmy's head, all right. Got a good picture of it. Yeah.
We're looking at a model of the Santa Maria, which was built in El Puerto de Santa Maria. What ship is that? Regatta, honoring Martin Alonso Pinzon, the captain of the Pinta.
Was in the past, is in the present days, and will be in the future the guide of our Christian faith. Saint Mary was in the origin of the Christian faith of the Iberian Peninsula, as well as in Christian origin of the American continent. The discovery and evangelization of America had a tremendous importance for the whole human being and Spain. And all of us, we have the privilege to be in the same historical city and this historical church where the 3 of August, 1492, Cristobal Colon, Pinzon Brothers, and all the group were attending Mass before they went to the port of Palos. We are going to do the same that they did. Many times when the children are coming to this church, I tell him, if by a picture will be possible that Columbus and the Pinzon brothers will recover life, maybe you will visit it with them in this place where they were, as I have told you, 500 years ago. And it is said that they went to the port by the door of Los Novios. That is what we are going to do now, and we will go very close to the little fountain, Fontanilla. According to the tradition, it was taking the water for the physics.
Dick Fowler, we're on the Navigator out of St. Augustine, Florida. We're representing the city of St. Augustine. This is the jacket that we have.
Do that slowly. Let's get a good look at that. Fine.
The jacket was designed by my daughter, especially for this event, and we're happy to be here.
Now I'm recording.
Well, Sonny, don't get jealous. Our pup at home probably see this and say, hey, what the hell's going on here, Dad?
Why don't you get in there and tell us about With Integrity?
With Integrity. Well, there's 14 crew members on With Integrity. We're an international crew. We have 2 Canadians, 1 Finnish, a number of Americans, and the original crew members that came down are from the UK. And this might be our newest member here.
Now,
we have 3 women plus a woman skipper, so there's 4 women on board, and we have to work just as hard as the guys do, and it's not domestic duties.
Now, tell me, how did you come by getting a Whitbread racer?
We were very fortunate. We decided that we wanted to do this race about 3 years ago. We were unable to get a boat of our own or get together with a group of people to do that, so we decided to put our name on the crew list, and we got onto the Whitbread boat.
Wonderful.
Yes.
Okay. See you in the Canaries.
We shall do.
You want to go home somebody else's leg now?
Yeah, let's put him down.
Right
here.
1, 2, 3. No. The sailing vessel Venturer out of Anchorage, Alaska, which was trucked over the Rockies to Duluth, Minnesota, and meandered its way through Lake Superior and Lake Huron and Lake Erie, through the Erie Canal, and down the Hudson River to Bermuda, and then to the Azores, and finally to Porto Sherry in Spain. And now, in a few hours, we're off for the Madeiras and the Canaries and the Bahamas. We're an island-studded trip indeed.
Over with them.
Okay, we're here in front of the Columbus Monument at the confluence of the Rio Tinto and the Rio Odieto, I believe it is.
Odial.
Odial, excuse me. This monument was given by the people of the United States to the people of Spain in 1929 and is the site where the official dignitaries of the community will be passing in review our fleet, which will head downstream here this afternoon about 1:30, heading towards Porto Santo in the Madeira chain. Here with me is Hal Post and Gene Branson. Gene is a member of our crew. Hal is on Venturer. Is that right, Hal?
That's right.
Hal is from Anchorage, Alaska.
and has sailed his boat through the Great Lakes down to Bermuda and across the Atlantic to be participating with us here.
That's the most interesting piece of sculpture. Yeah. Looking at the Constellation across the river, which is was the largest boat of our fleet until it went aground on August 3rd, and unfortunately has been totaled. It's it was an old wooden boat, a very large one, 100 feet or thereabouts, somewhere in that neighborhood, and got into trouble. And I believe it was 35 knot wind at the time that it was driven aground or ran aground and caved in some of its hull and lost its keel, and unfortunately now is
in front of a statue of Ferdinand and Isabella inside the Columbus Monument here in Philadelphia. And yesterday, all of the captains and crew members signed the Book of Honor here, which was initially signed by the King and Queen of Spain on page 1 back on August 3rd, 1992. And this book will remain unique to this building, and our sons and grandsons and great-great-grandchildren will be able to come in future years to consult it and see their ancestors' names written therein. On the walls here to my right are the names of those members of Columbus's fleet's crew, such as they can be determined from history. I think out of the 90 that they feel shipped with Columbus, they have the names of 87. And there they are, listed by the various boats that they were in, the Santa Maria and the Caravels in Nina.
Laura. Okay. I'm Mickey Berner, the skipper of the yacht Run, as you can see here behind me.
Keep going.
Well, the yacht is the former Martela, which was unhappy to lose her keel during the whitbread around the word race. But we now have refitted her in Finland, and she's better as before.
And how many crew aboard?
We are 13, 14, 15, depending on the different legs. And then the concept is father and son. We have 6 good friends who are sailing with our sons and a few other ones.
In Finnish, how do we say good voyage?
Hyvää matkaa.
Vielä matkaa.
Hyvää
Grazie. Officials are now checking with the skippers on crew list and complement. This is an important feature for
George wound up in the hospital. After waiting a few days and working on the boat, there was a group of sailors, independent of the rally group, but independent, left a note on my boat, and they invited me to go along with them and be on their boat.
Mira, David. Niño, no me lo quites. Con el Dios.
Monday the 12th of October, 1992, 500 years to the day when Columbus set foot on San Salvador in the New World. And we're here on the banks of the Odell River, where it joins the Pinto River, and coming downstream, led by the Finnish boat Run, an 82-footer that has participated in the Whitbread Round the World race. We have our fleet of 82 ships that'll be sailing for Porto Santo in the Madeira chain, a run of about 3 to 4 days, depending upon the side of the boat. Okay, we're looking across the Odiel River towards the El Rábida Monastery, where Columbus was a guest for many years before his epic voyage, and where his son was left in charge of the abbot there. We had a briefing in the captain's room, the same room that Columbus briefed his captains and his pilots. And now we're watching the lead boat that we saw a few moments ago, the Finnish boat, pass in review in front of the Columbus Monument, followed in 30-foot gaps by other members of the fleet. The next boat is with integrity. I think the next boat after that may be Pirate. But as far as the eye can stretch upriver, we have this procession of 82 sailboats all heading off for the Canaries via Madeira. In the Canaries, we'll be joined by 50 boats that left here on the 3rd of August and that are waiting for us there, and eventually we'll all make the passage to San Salvador from the Canaries starting on the 15th of November, and we should be in the Bahamas just the week before Christmas. Okay, we're here in the bright morning sunlight on the 13th of October at Agua Dulce. We arrived here last night about 9 o'clock. We're on the Mediterranean, about 10 kilometers west of Almeria, where I left the boat about a week ago. It's a nice new modern harbor, and Ishtar has been here amongst these other yachts for about a week. She's lying here at a mooring. Ishtar is 24 feet long. It's a Dana 24 built by a Pacific Seacraft. It's a sturdy little vessel. I've outfitted her for ocean voyages with a survivor tube and a life raft and a single sideband radio, a VHF, jib staysail, all of the necessary equipment that you'd really want to have if you went offshore, because I feel a real responsibility not only to my crew but to my own life, which I love dearly, to get safely to port.
Okay, bend down. Gene?
Pardon?
Bend down a bit.
We are now leaving. Ready for a nice sail to Gibraltar. It is 1,300 hours, I believe.
1313.
1313.
On the 13th of October.
Waiting for clearance from the skip here. Clearance from the Marine.
You guys will just hold on to the dock while I try and negotiate something with this.
Sunny sky.
Gene, you're in the Mediterranean now.
Yeah. Hey folks, excitement here in the cockpit tonight. First night out, moon came up over the horizon is all yellow for a while there. A lot of freighters zooming on by. At this moment I see 4 of them, maybe 5. So far their bearings are quite a ways away from us. And our skipper down there is just kind of like sitting there taking it all in.
Waiting for some good soup.
Rocking and rolling. And he's heating up some soup down there. Got to keep the mate.
Here, right under the bow. Huh? Here, look at that. Fall in here. I think we're a big dolphin. There they go.
Wind them out, James.
12, 15 miles off the coast of southern Spain, off the Costa del Sol. And we're competing with a large number of cargo and tankers for the sea lanes leading to the Straits of Gibraltar. But there's plenty of room out here, and we're keeping up far by. It's a little dicier at night, but during the daytime it's kind of fun to see all the traffic. It's got a gorgeous day, not much wind, and we should make Gibraltar tomorrow afternoon.
That's for yacht number 89, Mr. Polo. Yacht number 91, Bovacita. Yacht number 92, Zarda. Yacht number, your radio day is out every evening at 21:15, from 2100 to 21:15, we have a listening watch. The more people that can listen in, the better. That's, of course, to give anyone a chance to make an emergency broadcast in case they do have a problem. And the duty net controller for that day should be listening in. So tonight I'll be listening in for sure, but anybody that can listen in, expect me on channel 6.
Gibraltar. And in the distance you can see the famous Gibraltar Rock, one of the pillars of Hercules of ancient times. We are 2 days approximately to the hour out of Amalia, and we should be landing in Gibraltar Harbor at about 1400 hours. We'll then clean the boat up, get some additional provisions, get a weather report, and as you can see, the waters of the strait are very turbulent, running in a number of different directions and at pretty high velocities. Use a great deal of caution, at least departing, to make sure we have favorable winds and tides. They suggest that you don't go, which is our favorite.
I don't know whether you can see behind me, but we're approaching Gibraltar. We're probably about 8 miles off, and we've got a condition here where the wind is against the current. And when you get that condition, you get a very choppy mixed sea. The waves just seem to jump up and down without any direction at all.
We're now looking at some of the eddies and tidal currents that look like boiling coal. It's supposed to be honeycombed with fortifications and ammunition storage. On the side of it, we'll soon see a whole area that has been smoothed and concreted over to provide for water. Although they have desalinization plants, they do try to collect as much water as they can. It's a very arid area, and they must have no wells or certainly any water from the mainland.
Europa, which is the southern point of the Rock of Gibraltar, the red and white candy-striped lighthouse on about 30 meters of rock. We were picking it up last night at about 22, 24 nautical miles out to sea. And up on the right you see radar domes, and we understand this rock is honeycombed with munitions storehouses and all sorts of military facilities. It probably can hold out for 5 years.
One of the tunnels in Gibraltar. We're going to move up, look at the Buena Vista Battery, and we'll go to the top of the mountain. Customs and the basin. It's flying a flag from some British colony, but there's a Mexican flag on the spreaders in addition to the quarantine flag. Perhaps we'll find out about them when we of the runway at Gibraltar, and it's more like an aircraft carrier than it is an airport. We're at the private marina, and you're looking at the end of the airport. As I pan around the marina, you find that the wind is blowing, I don't know what Admiral Beaufort would call it, but it's blowing a stink here, and most of the boats that are tied up here in transit to other locations are waiting for the weather to change, and so are we. You'll find many flags. Our partners here are from Canada. On the other dock you'll find Norwegian, Swedish, Danish, German, and here's another British boat.
Dave. I'm from Victoria, British Columbia, Canada. I'm on the yacht Songbird of Kent. It's a 33-foot trade wind, heavy displacement yacht. I'm with my friend Paul, and we left from Cyprus about 5 weeks ago, and we had a long, hard journey from Cyprus here to Gibraltar, and our plans are to leave the boat here now for 3 months while we go home for Christmas. And then we're going to return in January and carry on down the West African coast to Senegal. From Senegal, we'll cut across to the Cape Verde Islands. And Cape Verde Islands, we're going to go to the Caribbean, possibly falling into Barbados. We're not sure about that. It's a bit flexible. This is part of a round-the-world cruise if we see it through to the end. We're only thinking as far ahead as the Caribbean, but if all goes well, we expect to go through the Panama Canal, up to Hawaii, back to Victoria, where I'm from, up to Alaska, then down the whole west coast to Costa Rica, and then across the Pacific, and who knows from there. But the final analysis, we hope maybe we'll get the boat as far as all the way around and into England. You're pointing your finger, Ken, and I'm not sure what you mean by that. Look away?
No, I'm just saying, I was asking about some of the sailing conditions you've experienced.
Oh, well. Okay, Ken, you've asked me to describe the sailing conditions have been terrible on this leg. I mean, we've cruised earlier in the summer in Turkey and had lovely conditions, but the run from Cyprus here was a little late in the year, I think, and we had very strong westerly winds most of the way. We can't count on two hands the number of hours of good sailing we had. The worst of it came only about 150 miles east of here. We were just about to cross the Greenwich Meridian when we were struck by winds of at least 90 knots for a relatively brief period, only 20 or 30 minutes. But I've never seen a wind like that. I've never seen it on television, and I hope I'll never see it again. We lost our mainsail, one broken coffee mug, and my sunglasses. But other than that, the boat, which is a very strong one, withstood it. And the only other thing that was worse for wear was Paul's and mine's nerves. But we seem to have recovered from that and haven't given up the idea of carrying on. We really don't expect anything quite as bad as that again. That was just a fluke storm. As I said, it was a hair-raising experience, but mercifully it was quite short.
Bien viaje and buena suerte.
We just left Marina Bay
where our boat has been anchored for the last 2 days in a slip, and we're headed towards town, up towards the Rock of Gibraltar. This is the famous rock that you see on the Prudential Life Insurance Company advertisement. Pretty impressive. Just go for a bus.
All along the face of the rock, and every side street that you look down, the Rock of Gibraltar towers over the sea. Finland. From what I understand, there is another of these on water. It's a very impressive yacht and obviously very expensive.
My name is Bill Sownley. We come from South Wales. We left there on the 27th of April 1991. We came across Biscay and we came up through the Midi Canal and into the Mediterranean. Just the two of us, my wife and myself. We're both geriatrics, as they say. And we then spent last summer on the Balearic Islands, which we thoroughly enjoyed. We spent most of the summer there on anchor, and that was very, very pleasant. The great thing about this life, I find, is that it's the people you meet, like this clown that's operating the camera, and his friend, and
yes.
this is all great fun. And we have next to us here a Swedish gentleman, Hoover, who we've sailed with a long time, on and off. We just meet him, we keep changing places, and every now and again we come alongside him, and there he is again. And he just sailed in not 10 minutes ago from Spain himself, and we're thoroughly enjoying ourselves. Our next move from here is, well, we're going to spend the winter here, we hope, and then we'll have our grandchildren over for the spring for a couple of weeks, and then we're going to go up to the Portugal, Spain and Portugal on the Atlantic coast, and then we're coming back from there, and what's happening from there on, I really don't know. Okay.
Well, I'm supposed to say what we're doing from then on, are we? Am I?
No, you can just say your point of view, though.
Well, it was been very pleasant. The only thing I haven't liked about it all is the swell. No one ever told us that when we were here, coming, that we would have so much swell. But we've enjoyed it very much, and we have met a lot of nice people, haven't we?
Yes.
And there you are. Bill has a new phrase called med till dead. But I really don't think we should probably wait that long, perhaps another 3 years or so. That'll be that.
Nej, jag heter Ove Nilsson. Jag har en segelbåt, Annefant, nummer Swedish 181. Vad är det mer? Jag träffade Bill och Evi i Mataro. Sen har jag sett dem lite då och då. Comment på det greatest.
Can I say he always calls me the English madam, but I don't really understand. I hope he doesn't really understand what.
And I come from this continent that lies over there. We are now close to the African coast and left Gibraltar yesterday 12 o'clock. I'm from Germany and I want to go to South America to travel around there. Because I don't like flying, I choose to go by sailing boat. The way to get on this boat wasn't so easy because I was first with the American 500 with a Slovenian boat. It was a very nice boat. It was an old fishing boat built 1939 with 2 masts and everything wooden. It was really to learn sailing.
You got it. Okay, good. Yeah, the wind is moving about.
Then I was on this Slovenian boat from Cadiz to Huelva. In Huelva they had to see that their money ran off and so they wanted me to pay. But I wasn't willing to finance their trip. I had a possibility to go down by car to Gibraltar. I decided to do this. Went on another wonderful boat. We tried to go to the Canaries, but after 22 hours we had to go back. The weather was so horrible. The wind was 4-7. Once the mast nearly dipped into the water, waves been up 4-5 meters. It wasn't that sailing that I like to do. It was adventure, but it was nice to do it once, but not necessary. But for sure the god of the winds or some god wanted me to go on this ship because it's the smallest ship on the American 500 and for sure with 1 meter and 98 I'm the largest boy that travels with the American 500. And a compliment to the boat, it's the boat with the longest bed I've been on. So
I'm looking south along the African coast, the North African coast of, we're going down the west coast of Africa. What we're looking at now is the coast of Morocco. I hope we can see it with this magnification.
Casablanca here, about 150 to 175 miles south of Tangier, which we cleared 2 days ago. And we've got about a force between 5 and 6 here, a little bit of sea running. And we're doing about 5.5 to 6 knots. We're having a good run. I think we'll do at least 120 miles today. Sun just went away. Good. Here we are on Ishtar, a little engine that could. Knock it off about 5 knots. Breakfast will be coming up soon. Deliciously served by our German crew member. About 110.
toward the sun, and you can see the majestic ocean waves sweeping by, and hopefully sweeping us toward our destination.
We're all alone there. No other traffic. Bright, clear day. Here comes the sun.
When you see the mother of all waves approaching, let me know.
All right. It'll be coming from your way.
I know, that's... These are some of our company on the voyage, and at night it's a matter of great concern, these giant vessels. They seem to be in the vicinity of a shipping lane. How is it handling so far?
Well, it's handling all right.
And it's called Dana 24.
Dana 24.
Today is Friday, the 23rd of October, 1992, I hope. And we are still close to the Moroccan coast, not the Spanish Saharan coast. I don't know the degrees. Maybe the skipper knows.
It's 3250 north and 930 west.
The company is for sure a Moroccan fisher. He can't share with us because he has to work and we are on holidays. But there, behind the video man.
Now, let's go.
Okay, we've got a couple of swells coming up. Our wind is from the northeast. I think we've got about a force 4 out here. We're going with the wind, so we don't feel much of the breeze in our faces. But it's a lovely, bright, sunny afternoon. And Ken is taking some pictures, but he just can't wait to get the tiller because it's just about 3 o'clock. And he wants to have all the fun for the next 3 hours.
Typical Atlantic swells.
Okay.
We're in the Atlantic Ocean, 182 miles from Las Palmas and the Canary Islands. We're sailing along under triple reef, and the wind speed is only about force 6 now. The other night we were sailing in conditions of force 8, and made for a very exciting night. Everything on the boat was moving about. Now, some important matters, messages to the family. Today is Sunday, so peace to you. And what I'm going to do in a few minutes is take my safety harness and hook it to the deck line. And I'm going to take the camera forward on the boat to show you the motion of this boat through these Atlantic rollers. So, Ocho, if you just hit the button again, the red button. Our gallant little vessel is running downwind in force 6 waves, some of which roll by with great gusto and great sound. It's very hard to keep the camera level, as you can see. I'm waiting for the sun to show light because it gives a very dramatic effect. Here's the sun. Now I'm looking astern. It's a very good practice not to look aft when you're steering, because it distracts you, and sometimes what you see coming up behind you frightens you. The boat seems to lift on each wave, forward occasionally when it gets forward, and sort of waves are passing at angles, but it's a very exciting scene.
Okay, here we are aboard Ishtar. We're about 80 nautical miles northeast of Las Palmas in the Canary Islands. It's the 25th of October. And as anybody who's ever been to sea on a sailboat knows, there are watches to be stood by members of the crew and the captain also. But I'd like to talk about a different kind of watch that we have on board here. As you see above me, I have 4 watches. These 4 watches were lent to me by my son and my grandson to make the voyage from the old world to the new world in the steps of Columbus. And they wanted to have a little momentum of something that actually crossed the Atlantic with their father and grandfather. And this is just to prove that they did not sit at home in a bureau drawer, but they were here with me all the time. They're very sophisticated watches, digital, analog. They have barometers, altimeters. I don't need an altimeter because I know I'm at sea level the whole way over. But that also serves as a barometer, and that's a very useful thing for a sailor to have. So here they are, just to prove that they're there.
It's 0750, October 27th, and this is the morning of our 7th day at sea. We are just reaching port city of Las Palmas, Gran Canary, and we should be in the harbor within a short time. We're looking at the port of Las Palmas, and we're now going to follow a ferry into the harbor. Wind is moderate, sea is moderate, and we're looking forward to taking a shower, so beginning to kind of feel a little gamey. Ocho, what are your thoughts about reaching port?
It must be great to have a shower, to have a real Spanish coffee, to have a first cigarette on the shore. Yes, just to be back in civilization, to go to the toilet without any problem. This must be the best.
Running aground down on the point, just below the lighthouse. If I can zoom on this. De la Lune, which Ocho corrected me. Light. Now, what we're looking at now, and we have a question about, we see smoke coming small boat. I was wondering if we were witnessing a boat on fire. A little closer to our burning boat situation. Looks like the black hulled boat with the white superstructure has gone to its aid. Perhaps they're trying to get a line on it. Close up.
See that smoke a moment ago? Still smoking.
Hello, Ken. I'm Martina. Thank you for carrying this guy over the ocean to me. Thank you very much.
Hi, I'm Kathy. I came over on a boat which is 1 foot bigger than this boat here. To Madeira, 8 days at sea, storms, broken mast, broken radio, but I'm here with this boat.
Hello, I'm Luke French from Maine. I go to Caribbean straight to work. Have a good trip.
I'm Sean from Portsmouth, England. I came with him and these two from Madeira.
Well,
and before that.
Okay.
Bien viaje, buena suerte. Yay!
These boats are a special class race only in Gran Canaria and Canary Islands. They're very unique. As you see, they have the added keel. They're a very sturdy little boat, and they must be, because the wind velocities here and in certain locations is devastating. As a matter of fact, people who are unaware of the particular wind patterns were killed when their boat was swamped by special racers. There's a club here that sponsors them, and I certainly would like to see Regatta. It must be very colorful, and Maxi, the run, formerly Martel, the one that had its keel broke off and turned turtle in the South Atlantic during the whitbread race. They've also had problems with their mast. And the mast is sitting on the dock, and they're trying to repair some portions of it. It's also reported that a large Argentinian boat about the same size had trouble with their rudder stock, and the boat started to sink, and the 16 members aboard abandoned it. An English fellow leaped aboard, salvaged it, and sailed it to Madeira. So he's claiming salvage rights. Here's another Maxi. Everybody suffered some kind of equipment problems, and now they're sorting it out before the last leg to Georgetown. Ishtar is sitting in his berth comfortably on the other side, and it will also participate. I think it'll arrive a little later forever. What I'll do is just walk its length. For a hike like this, you should...
Pedro, compañero de batalla.
Pedro.
Pedro, Carlos, yo, mi Carlos. Y amigo, Pedro.
Betty Marks. We're off-board Distant Drum. We're the official representatives of the state of Wisconsin. We've been sailing for about 6 months now. We came to Europe on the Trans-Arc from St. Augustine, and we've done the Canaries Rally, and we're having a wonderful time. But the best thing of all are the people we've met. It's just been sensational. Would you say so?
Oh, absolutely. I'm glad to see Ishtar come in. We've all been very interested to see that 26-foot Dana. And
24 foot.
24 foot.
Can you imagine going across the Atlantic in a 24-foot boat?
Not me.
Gotta have a lot of guts to do that.
The Spanish say, loco de cabeza.
I think so.
You know, I understand there's another pretty good sailor from Wisconsin, a place called Zenda. The guy that won the America's Cup for us.
Oh, no, that was Bud Melgus.
Melgus, sure.
Melgus. Oh, sure, Bud Melgus, yeah. He also produces boats.
I heard that.
Yeah.
Buy his sails and watch out for whiplash.
And all that good stuff.
Yeah.
Well, we're glad that Ishtar is here, and the next couple of weeks will be a lot of fun and a lot of activity. And
when do you take off for Georgetown?
we take off for Georgetown on the 15th of November, and the fast boats will make it in 2.5 weeks, and boats like us and Ishtar will make it in 31 days, just like Columbus.
Well, listen, I'm going to say this in my best passport Spanish: bien viaje and buena suerte.
The quickest boat in the America 500, or should be, and it's a mess, but that's the way it is. So is the crew. Welcome aboard. This is the kitchen you're in now, and it's a mess. That's the way the boat is. But it was designed for the whitbread, and it's the perfect whitbread kitchen. You cook for 16 people and feed 16 people. They're happy. Next to the kitchen is my dirty laundry, which is misty, and the workbench, which is a workstation. And coming forward, we have above us a cup for each crew member with their number. We discovered that if we put the numbers on the cups, they wash them. Are you shy? And you don't have to find a dish duty. Still a large pile of Kevlar. And hopefully it's able to fit each purpose. And a dirty towel, that's my responsibility. My towel. Boat is a dining room table up in the bow. But it's unusable because when we're in port, we have sails up here. And when we're at sea, we have nothing up here because we don't want any weight up forward. But it's a nice table anyway. Coming back.
Candid camera. What shall happen next?
We have dead crew members and 18 bunks.
Smile.
Completely adjustable.
3 mileage.
So that no matter what the angle of the heel,
Oh, Jesus.
the crew members are laying upright.
Don't worry, smartass, your turn will come.
And pretty much my home while sailing. And good access to the deck. Comfortable in most angles of heel. And with whatever you might need. You have radar, a single sideband radio, GPS, VHF, stereo, very important for this crew, weather fox, and the electronics, which tell you cut and tape this. I became involved with whitbread many years ago. I figured it was the best sailboat, greatest sailboat race in the world, the ultimate sailboat race. And I could use some coaching along the way here, this is new to me. And 85, 86 I went to New Zealand and became a shore crew member and rebuilt some masts. And stood by and didn't get on a boat. 89, 90 I was hoping to sail with Skip Novak, but he never got a sponsor. So this little country called Finland with 3 maxis being built and decided I should go up there because they've got a 1 week, 2 week summer and they kind of have maxi sails for 3 maxis. And I went up and interviewed with the 3 boats, decided this was the best project, helped build the boat and have been sailing on it since we built it. And if you don't know, this was, and you do know actually, this was called Martello during the whitbread. And we became famous because we lost our keel. Nothing we actually did worthy of being famous for, but I suppose not many people lose their keels and get video doing that. But this is the boat that turned upside down during the whitbread. And since then we put on a new keel, obviously, a new mast, new engine, new electronics. bunks, and a lot of new stuff. Some new paint because the Uruguayan Navy tried to salvage the boat by towing it upside down by the rudder. Yeah, they hadn't a clue. And so it's an old hull with a new interior and an old design. An old design meaning 1989, not that old. And it's right now it's a mess because we just got here and the mast is broken. Sunshine.
Oh,
The most important man on a maxi, especially a woodbred maxi,
I don't want to touch it.
is the cook.
Oh God, I'm fainting.
This man is Gatea. Finish. This guy makes food for 16 people crossing the Atlantic.
Oh, that's real shit.
Great food. Excuse me. You're on American TV. You gotta watch your language. This guy makes food for everybody, and there's never a complaint, except when he doesn't make pancakes and waffles for breakfast, which is a common problem. Yes. The Finns don't understand pancakes and waffles for breakfast. I think it's something for dessert, but he's being educated. We'll start with Jokkeberner, who's the owner's son, and our star mast and bow man, who when things get real shitty, usually gets the blame, or if not the blame, the job. Jokke.
Well, not much to tell. It has been a nice race, and I have enjoyed it a lot so far, and I hope it's gonna be interesting to go over the Atlantic and have some new experience with these guys and this boat.
Next to him is Lauri Tukkanainen, who's our, actually he's our star downwind sailor, but he doesn't realize it yet, and if we tell him, his ego will be out of shape for years to come. He's great except when he's been drinking too much, in which case, he's not.
Well, be an optimist, sail a maxi. Yes.
Obviously he's the quiet one also. Next to him in hiding is Edvard, who we call the king.
Great, Edvard.
Although I'm not sure why.
Neither do the others.
Edward is our balding wonder, although he's going to save his hair somehow, I'm sure, through laser treatment.
My laser beams.
Yes.
Very nice trip. Enjoy the meals.
What about the sail falling down?
Sail falling down. Actually quite nice. Quite a nice experience.
Well, something many maxi sailors don't get to do. We have a temporary crew member, Bernadette, who's actually going to be boat sitting while I'm with my wife for a couple of days this weekend. But we don't have to tell my boss that. Next to her is Tom Ivanas, who's everything else. He's Finnish speaking though and very shy, so you got to work hard to get a word out of him.
It's been a nice trip, although I have been very seasick. Otherwise, I like that fellow. Maybe next year I'll come back.
Notes about this fantastic trip that I would like to share with you. I think first what I would like to do is start with acknowledgments. First and foremost, I want to thank Marilyn for her patience and encouragement while I pursued this challenge. I'd like to thank Jay Miller, the Commodore of the Seville Yacht Club, for the time he allotted, and just to tell Jay and the members of the club that I was, as part of the America 500 celebration, I was presented to the alcaldera, the mayoress of Palos, and I gave her a Seville Yacht Club burgee, which will be displayed in the museum as part of the 500th year celebration. To past Commodore Brendan Brownyard, that most competent and congenial skipper, I thank him for giving me my first opportunity to sail offshore. Let's see, where do we go from here? I'd like to thank Jimmy Cornell for organizing what I thought was an outstanding rally, tying history and this particular interest. His staff, some of those that I've met, Tony and Mary Mark, just great people. The program I can only consider outstanding, and I was very happy to participate in it. To Hugh Suffrage and his adventures on his 30-foot nonsuch Arcadia, I think that's he serves as a role model to the young in spirit. Let's see, make sure I haven't forgotten anybody. Bill Butler, I want to thank him also for sharing with us the details of that incredible journey of survival, 66 days in a raft in the Pacific. Quite a story, and I believe there's a book, and I'm sure I want to get a copy of it. To Bill and Eve Soundry from Cardiff, Wales, who made our stay in Weatherstop in Gibraltar agreeable. And also to David Lisson and Paul Handover, who let us use his deck to get onto the quay, and taught us a great deal about single sideband radio, introducing us to the UK mobile net, comforting thing when you're at sea. And I want to make a special thank you to Rick Jacobs, who is the master of Run, formerly Martella. He was kind enough to give me an extensive tour of that most incredible yacht and tell me a little about his experiences aboard the same boat that was Martella during the 1989-90 Whitbread race when, I believe it's February 26th, the keel broke off in the turn turtle. Unfortunately, it had a happy ending. The crew were all rescued, and the boat was salvaged and reconditioned to its present condition. A special thanks to him. And then there's that fair dinkum couple from down under, Leon and Judy O'Donoghue, who made my last evening in Las Palmas as part of the rally a glowing experience with some rum and the story of how their boat Straight Up got its name. I had assumed that it would be an unadulterated enjoyment of the sport or your environment. But he told me that the former owner had named it because his wife would not get on the boat unless the mast was straight up. Also, an acknowledgement to Jack Parker, a video pro and a shortwave ham, November Tango 9 Juliet, and his lovely wife Dee Dee. It was pleasant that I left the island with such an agreeable couple. And now with the acknowledgments done, just a few comments about the trip itself. At night, at sea, with the canopy of stars overhead and giant waves surging by, it is probably the closest thing that I will ever come to a religious experience in my life. And if that solitude is rewarding and agreeable, curiously, so too are the people. Their diversity, their energy, their adaptability, and it was just a wonderful thing to share the spirit of our human family in the most positive way. To our children, I hope that they see that the pursuit of challenges is limited only by your imagination, and certainly not by your age. And to our grandchildren, whose grandmother is equally comfortable in a concert hall as climbing Mount Washington, that grandparents do interesting things. And we look forward to the time when the grandchildren can enjoy, share with us some of the exciting... That's a good question, and what I'm going to do, I'm going to let Enya